Right. Hello, mandolin players. Magnus here from Sweden, and it's nice to have you here for another Facebook Live session. And today, in this video, I'm going to give you the keys how you improve your mandolin player so that you can become the best mandolin player that you ever can be. And I have broken down this thing into 3 key points that I would like to share with you. And I believe that none of these 3 things will be totally new to you. It will be things that you heard of before. But my question is how are you considering this, and more important, are you implementing these things to your mandolin playing? Because if you don't do it, there might be a chance that you are holding back a little bit as a mandolin player. Because one thing that I realize, that the more that I improve as a player, I'm also becoming better at improving. Does that make sense? And my guess, if you're here watching this video, you want to become a better mandolin player, you want to see results, maybe get some more inspiration, because that's what all my videos is all about. So I think if that can apply to you, then this video is for you, my friend. And I'm just gonna go quick in here to see I have some people watching. Great. Yeah, I don't want to wait any longer. We go straight into the training here. And so this is gonna be more of like an tactical and an overview of this big subject. Then I'm not actually like teaching you very specific licks or chords or scales or anything like this today. This is more like a big picture of the road that we're all into. Got some comments coming in. I will go on a little bit with the training, and then I dive in deeper to the comments. I see Louis are here. Hello from Evansville, Indiana. Hi Louis, nice to have you here. Always nice when people are typing in where they are watching from, because there's nice when people picking up the message. But here we go. Put it here. Keys for improvement. The first thing I would like to talk a little bit about is time. So one thing you have to realize, if you wanna become good at playing mandolin, you gotta spend time with your mandolin. Very obvious, but I say it again because it's so essential. You gotta spend time with your mandolin. It could be attending a jam session. Maybe you are in your kitchen practicing some new tune. Could be go to rehearsal with your band. Or maybe you're doing some front porch picking. You are maybe composing a new melody. But all these keys is every time you spend time with a mandolin, you will make improvements. And on the other side, if you don't pick up the mandolin, you can't expect to make improvements of your playing. Very basic things, but it's trust me, because I have students and I have people who doesn't really consider this to be very doing this very tactically. And the other thing about time, you probably heard this, that it takes 10,000 hours to become good at something, a skill for example. And that is somehow true, but I think you also want to be a little bit careful with a statement like this. I believe you can become a very good mandolin player even before spending 10,000 hours of it. Because it's also how you actually spend the time is probably more important. You want quality time with your mandolin. And I'm going to tell you a story here so I can get down to the things that I wanted to tell you. I have a son, he's 7 years old, and just this Christmas in the holidays, he wanted to, he now 7 years as I said, and he wanted to remake his room. And me and my wife, we go there, we can do this during the holiday. We had also a lot of other things scheduled, but we estimated, okay, if we're gonna get this done, new wallpapers, blah, 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 maybe it's like 20 hours of work. But we can squeeze it in during this holiday and still have time to go to the go skiing and all that. Let's do it. If it's 20 hours of work, let's do 5 hours on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There's 20 hours of work, and we did it. Finished his room in 4 days, and we had still plenty of time for the other things. On the other side, like 2 summers ago, I got a phone call. And this was from the band Quilty, and they are the best Irish band. They're Swedish people playing Irish music. And they said, one man had a reason not to show up for a concert, and they say, Magnus, could you come here? We want you to play mandolin and Irish bouzouki for this gig. And I'm a very big fan of them, so I said, of course, I'll do it. And I looked at their repertoire, and it was maybe something like 20 tunes or something. And I looked at it, and I realized I need 20 hours of preparation for this. It was still summertime, and we were having time off, and I was thinking, how can I find 20 hours to do this? And here's the thing. I mean, I can't do it like this example with the wallpaper I told you about. It doesn't apply to music. If I have gone for 4 days, making 5 hours rehearsing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, 20 hours. But hey, I couldn't show up at the gig performing well with a preparation like that. So what I did, well, I had to schedule this. I will do it. I will practice 1 hour a day. I did it. 20 days in a row. I showed up to the gig and I was doing a great job. And so, I mean, so my point here, it's not about all the hours you put into mandolin playing. It's also how smart you are scheduling this, because you all know this. It's more important if you can practice 15 minutes a day than spending like 2 hours playing a Friday jam session. If you want improvement, you gotta be wise how you spend the time, right? And I'm sure you heard this all before. Having a practice routine, even if it's only 15 minutes, it will make improvements for you. So that is all about the time. I hope. So let me hear, because I know you heard this all before, but let me show in the comments how many of you have a practice routine and how much time can you actually put there daily. Please let me know in the comments. I'm gonna head over here to see what you write here. Ian Harvey is here. Hello again, Magnus. Hi Ian, nice to have you here. Thomas Dugstad, watching from Rhode Island, USA. Going to watch the rest later. Thank you for all you do. Thanks Thomas, glad you have you here. And of course will be possible as a replay also. Drew Egerton. Drew is with us once more. Working a real job gets in the way of time too often. You are correct that a little bit every day is better than a lot once a week. Yes, that is just, I mean, it can apply. And Drew, I really can see it. Even for me, not having a real job, it can be hard, like finding the time. But we have to try to do it at least, because every time we do it, we will make improvements. And so yeah, a little bit every day is better than not once a week. And even, I mean, it has to be realistic. Your goals of your improvement have to be realistic. The expectation, I mean, of what time and effort you can put in there. But I tell you, it's yeah, if we can just find this 10-15 minutes a day, and we will work very smart, we will make much bigger improvements. Louis AIDS, he say, I'm retired, so I get to play every day. I agree, doing something playing every day is important. Perfect, Louis. You're right on the right track, and happy for you. You're retired, so you can play every day. Yeah, cool, guys. I go on. I have the second thing for you here. So just let me reveal this. The second key for improvement is knowledge. And this really relates to this, what I call about quality time and all that. Because true story, when I started playing mandolin 20 years ago, for my first 4 years, I would do it without any teacher and without any real knowledge, really. I applied what I knew from playing guitar to mandolin, but there was a lot of things that I was also not getting right. So the first time I actually met a mandolin teacher, he was pointing out a lot of things that I have to correct in my technique, and it was all related to picking directions and all that. So I had spent 4 times here. And what if I knew these things already in there? So you can see, I mean, 10,000 hours. What kind of number is that? Because if you spend the first 2,000 or 3,000 hours, for example, doing it a little bit without having the foundation in place, it's not the best way. It's kind of like a waste of your mandolin time. And I don't want you to waste your mandolin time. And just imagine, if you don't have a big awareness of mandolin, the picking directions, if you don't know alternate picking very well, and then you spend a lot of time you can even get a habit that is sometimes hard to get rid of. So that's just an example of how important it also is to have good knowledge. Because the sooner, even if you're a beginner and you get into these kinds of things, it will add up in all the time you put in. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So having a good understanding, and especially in this fundamental things, the basics and the foundation. And you probably know, going to a jam session, for example, and there's this tunes that you're not sure how you really play it, but you just do it anyway. I mean, you know kind of how old the Dangerfield is, but you don't know it perfectly, but you still keep playing it and you're jamming along. But in the end, if you really knew how to do it, that would be much more better time spent at the jam sessions, if you want improvements. And that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think that makes sense. All right, I have the third little key here for you that I want to share. Oh yes. Inspiration, it says. This is like the fuel for an artist, for an mandolin player. We want to stay inspired. If we got this in place, it will actually lead us to wanting to play more mandolin and spending the time that is needed. remember what I said, the only thing that can make you a better mandolin player, spending time with your mandolin. And for the inspiration, of course, it's the obvious things here is listening to music, attending concerts, watching videos. All of this is like getting input, I think, can make you very inspired. But there's also another part of the inspiration. It's missing a P here. Inspiration. What I also said, getting the input is important. But the other thing that I think is equally important is also your internal inspiration and your mindset about this. Because you want to treat yourself very gently when trying to get improvements. Because I think one of the reasons why people don't feel inspired, and it can also be like this self-doubt, actually, that we're putting objects in front of ourselves. Maybe we are looking at a lot of other players, seeing how good they can make it, and you're trying to do that, but you don't really get it right, and you start feeling that, well, I can't learn this, I might be too old, I started too late, I'm not talented enough, these kind of things. And so the inspiration is also so much about the mindset here. And as I said, we gotta treat ourselves gently and not compare ourselves to other players. You said I put the title to this little workshop that become the best mandolin player you can be. I think that's what it's all about. At least for me. When I'm in a good state of mind, I'm very curious. How good can I be on playing mandolin? Will I be able to do that? So it's really to make improvements. It's like comparing yourself to your future self or something like that. It's about you making progress. It's not that much about what all other players can do, but to stay in this good state of mind, compare with yourself, because that's what I think is most interesting. Also in an artistic perspective, it's really what can you do with the things you have? What can you express with the music That is the interesting thing. And just a very quick tip on this part. Besides listening and watching and all that, getting input from other players, is to pay attention to your own process, really. What I do, I keep this mandolin diary, or like I call it my practice diary. Here I put all the notes, I'm writing down here what am I thinking of right now, what is that I'm struggling with, can I have some, what would be my next step to get to the next stage and all that. So it's a very good way to keep track of your own process, and it really helps me with my own improvement. And I have a pile of this diaries. I've been doing this for 15 years, and it's not like I'm doing it daily, but probably a couple of times a week. And it really depends of what I'm doing at the moment. I just write it down, and it also gives me a record. I can go back and see, 10 years ago, I was really focused around that time. And I can go back to, it was 2010. That's when I decided, I really made the decision, I want to learn to play jazz mandolin. My diary is for months, weeks and months are just filled with this, how can I do it, and all the things that I was going through at that time. So it's also very interesting to like following your own process a little bit. Let me see, I have more questions, comments coming in, so I'm just gonna go there. And just let me know, did any one of you, just let me know, is this anything of this, the time, the knowledge, inspiration, are these important parts of your own improvement? If they are, give me a thumbs up. If you think this is all crap, give me a thumbs down. Gonna head into the comments a little bit. Idris is here. He's one of my friends playing the SAS. Hi Idris, nice to have you. Drew Egerton says, there will always be someone out there better and worse than you. So true. And accept it and just try to become the best you can. I'm totally with you, Drew. That's the spirit to go, and there's always gonna be, as you said, people better than you, and also people not playing as good as you. Who cares? I mean, I'm doing this for my own pleasure and my own sake, and so just have the, I don't know the English word for it, but this, like the horses, don't pay too much attention to what's happening around you. Stay on your track, keep moving. Lewis says, I agree, Drew, staying where we are. Magnus will help us improve. Lewis, yeah, I'm more than happy to help you improve here. And yeah, fantastic. Really glad, appreciate your comment there. I'm getting a little bit flattered, so I don't know really what to respond. But Ian says, discovering Nordic mandolin tunes has been an inspiration. Thanks for these useful tips. Yes, Ian, he's also playing a lot of Nordic folk mandolin, I know. So I'm really glad that has been an inspiration for you. And so we gotta bring in those little doses of inspirations every now and then. Otherwise, I don't think, or at least for me, I would fall flat after a while. And so this really, your comments there actually brings me into this. This is my number one solution to get these things in part. You know what it could be? Let's have a look. Can you read this? Try to get involved, try to play, and try to get in, be exposed to more experienced player. And I'm not saying get a teacher here. Getting a teacher could be a very good way to get in contact with a more experienced player. It can also be, I mean, if you have a friend that is a fabulous mandolin player, try to play as much as you can with that person. Even playing with musicians that are a little bit more experienced than you, that will keep you make improvements, that will give you inspiration, and they can bring you knowledge. And hopefully you will not only spend time playing with them, but hopefully they can also help you how to like structure and manage your own time. So that is my top tip for you. Having a sip of water. And here's my story. I told you I started to play mandolin just before I turned 20. That's almost 20 years ago. For the first 4 years, I was doing it like most of like rambling, doing it by myself. But I came to a point, and I had a lot of inspiration. I listening to a lot of players and was in this musical environment. So that part was not difficult at all for me. I was very inspired. Young 20-year-old. I had a lot of time. I spent a lot of time playing music, mandolin and guitar. But you know what? Missing part. I didn't have the knowledge. As I told you, I treated it as a small guitar, more or less. But what I did, because at the subconscious level, I understood this. So I tried to hook up with the two of my idols, really. It was Simon Mayer from England. It was Petri Hakala in Finland. I did send them, because I listened a lot to them. I did send them emails. I got very nice response of both of them. Simon, he hadn't possibility to teach me, but Petri had. So I went to Finland to start to get lessons from him. And that was, as I said, a very big change for me, because he put me on right track, giving me all the fundamentals. And he gave me the knowledge to proceed. And later on, I actually had a chance to move to Finland to study for him. So I can now look back at it, and it was big decisions for me that I took. Sorry. Yeah. Not only, sorry, I didn't only stay with Petri. I also went to the Mandolin Symposium in California in 2005. And I met David Grisman and Mike Marshall, Chris Thiele, all of my heroes. I was so inspired by them. Yeah. And I have this grass allergy. And I can get like this out of that. I actually think I have to wrap up the lesson a little bit. Is there anyone just interested? Were any one of you attending the Mandolin Symposium? It was such a fantastic experience. I'm still getting inspiration and knowledge from that week, that camp, I think. Please let me know if you've been to the Mandolin Symposium. All right, but that was actually that was little what I had to share to you. So let me make a summary a little bit. And here's also one thing that I would like to tell, because these are things that I've told you about. I have this academy coming up, the Mandolin Secrets Academy. This is things that I also try to implement into the academy. How can I serve you in the best of ways? So in my Mandolin Secrets Academy, you got inspiration. I'm going to show up every week with things for you so you can stay inspired. And there will also be another, like a community there that we can stay inspire each other. The knowledge in the academy, I will put all the knowledge that I do have, and I also have the dream of bringing in guests to the academy. I mean, maybe I can have Sierra Hull coming in there and talk a little bit about her ways of putting together a nice mandolin solo or something. I mean, I'm dreaming big now, but that's how I like doing it. So it's gonna be full of great knowledge there. And I also, about this thing, I wanna help you to get a routine. So you know, if you have 10 minutes to practice today, how can you spend 10 minutes that will lead to improvements? So if you want to, there's a wait list now for the academy. I'm opening it up in August. But you go to mandolinsecrets.com/academy. And you can get on the wait list, and you will be the first one to get noticed. And also, you get the lowest price to get in there. So if you're interested, mandolinsecrets.com/academy. Yeah, I'm gonna dive in just I'm gonna make a summary of this, but first let me answer some of the comments here. Here is, sorry, I can't see that. Wayne Willis is with us also. Hi Wayne, saying, I'm by nature an academic, so the knowledge comes fairly easy for me, but applying that knowledge is a great challenge. Yes, Wayne, so that is also one thing, the knowledge, but how do you actually implement it? It's all about execution, and that's what we're doing here. And yeah, I really hope I can, I think I can help you with that actually. So yeah, cool. Rob Dugdale say hi Magnus. Hi Rob, nice to have you here for another session. Great to hear you again. Same to you, Rob. Louis saying, being self-taught, changing my bad habit is a challenge. Louis, you're like me, also self-taught, but it was only for my first 4 years, so I had quite quickly time to change my habits, get into good, like a solid foundation, and ever since then I've been trying to build on that. That's the way to do it. But I really can see, yeah, your problem there. Drew, thanks again, Magnus. Appreciate you sharing your time and knowledge and providing some inspiration. You really nailed that one. I wasn't thinking about it like that, but you are so true. Thanks, Drew, for putting the words like that. It's actually what I'm doing, so. Oh, sorry. Louis, thank you. Thanks, Louis. So, for a very quick summary of this, the 3 keys for your improvements: be aware of how you spend your time, try to make it quality time, and you do want to attend jam sessions, you want to rehearse with others, you want to learn how to spend time with the instrument by yourself as well. Very important things. 10 or 15 minutes a day is much better than doing 10 hours of playing 1 day a week. I say that again. 10 or 15 minutes a day is better than 10 hours 1 day each month or each week. Knowledge, you gotta be smart how you spend your time. You want to have the knowledge in place, so you're using the right technique, the right tactics and all that, developing a good skill set. The inspirations, you gotta fill up with inspiration out of listening, watching, and playing, meeting other music, but also to keep this inspiration growing, you gotta be gentle to yourself, and you gotta really ask yourself how to not compare yourself to others, but maybe compare yourself how you played last week or how you want to play in 2 weeks. And one way of doing this is keeping this practice diary, as I do. And one way of getting all these things is try to be around more experienced players, because you will get it. And I put it experienced because there's also this thing. It's not a player that has played for 20 years. It's not, what is the word? Maybe a player who played for 2 years actually is a more experienced player. So it doesn't really come to how long you have been playing the mandolin. Its experience has also to do with more things than only like the time that you spend. So that's also why I don't like this idea of you have to, like 10,000 hours would be a measurement to become a good player. No. I've seen really good players that have only played for a couple of years, and not a chance they played for 10,000 hours. So yes, and if you're lucky, you live around an experienced teacher. You live around a player that's more willing to share their knowledge with you. if you're lucky, I think you want to go to these people, and they will help you with the improvements. I had to go to live in another country to get it. I couldn't find a mandolin teacher even in Sweden where I live. And I know most people would not do things like that as I did. And what is I wanted to say? Yeah, I mean, my biggest talent isn't that I'm very talented with it. It's my passion. I think I'm more passionate about mandolin playing than most people, so I tend to do quite extraordinary things like the symposium and moving to Finland and all that. I'm also here willing to help you if you want if I can guide you with this, and you feel that I'm the experienced player that could help you out, check out my Mandolin Secrets Academy, because that will be the best way for me to serve you as a mandolin player. So, yeah, a lot of talking, not that much playing, but have a good time, happy picking, and see you in a new video soon. Bye.